And we're live. What is this, Lady Ada?
Hey, everybody, and welcome to another show and tell. This is our weekly show and tell where we show off projects together to each other because we are all friends. And we also have robots and members-only jackets and 3D printed stuff that we would like to show to each other. And this is just like a happy little campfire. But there's no fire. We're in front of computers. And that's the closest we're going to get. And Lady Ada, this is Phil. And we're going to call on you in the order we see you. Unmute your mic when it's time. And spend a few moments showing off your project. We got to get out of here at about 7:50, so please help us finish so we can continue to the next show. We'll do a little bit of setup for it as well.
That's right.
So starting off with Tony DeCola from Adafruit Northwest.
Hey, yeah, so real quick, I have a little retro tech, this nice little members-only jacket that I'm wearing here. This one's leather, which is kind of cool. Vintage one, I think from the late 80s. If you can't tell, I'm kind of a fan of these jackets. So. Anyways, though, this is a little Circuit Playground, so check that out. This is the developer edition. Let's see, hold this thing up, and it's in the store actually, I think right now, but you'll see more in the next show. And I just did a stream like an hour ago, less than an hour ago, on using Fermata, a special Fermata sketch that you can load on the Circuit Playground board, and then you can program it using Python, or at least your computer can run Python code that controls the Circuit Playground board. And so in the video, it's about an hour long, I go through how to load up the Fermata sketch and then how to run this Python code to control a Circuit Playground. It's like you can light up the NeoPixels, read the accelerometer, you know, do pretty much everything you can do in the Arduino IDE, like with code running on the board, but from Fermata, so you can use, I have Python code, but there's all kinds of other libraries, like JavaScript has a Fermata library. So a real good way, I think, for people that want to get interested in hardware. Circuit Playground is like the hardware solution where, you know, you don't have any soldering, you've got all these components on the board, and then to get over that hump of I don't really know C or C++ programming, use something like Fermata to get started with, and then use Python or JavaScript to do higher level programming of the board, and you know, kind of get your feet wet. It's like the gateway drug maybe of embedded hacking and stuff.
Yeah,
like that.
Fermata is interesting because it's actually MIDI. It's like
right,
it's kind of a subset of MIDI, which is sort of a well-known and easy to understand protocol. But instead of note on, note off, it's like pin on, pin off.
Exactly, yeah. Real simple, like little like byte commands that tell it to do different things. And I made some extensions, so you have to use a special Fermata sketch, but the Fermata protocol and the MIDI protocol itself has a concept of extensions, like extra commands you can add. So it wasn't like I had to go and invent a whole new protocol. I'm just using the standard extension stuff they have in the protocol for it. So it's pretty cool.
All right, that's pretty cool. All right, thanks for the update. Yeah, and we'll have that tutorial live probably tonight or tomorrow. So that's great. The update. Okay, next up, Noah and Pedro.
That's right.
Hey guys, hi everybody. Is the audio okay?
Yeah,
you're good.
Okay, cool. The silence there was like, oh no, the mic.
Sorry, I don't know how to use this Google Hangout.
That's okay.
What am I doing? I shouldn't even.
Just a small update. I just wanted to share with you guys Rev B of this PCB. This is the gamepad PCB, Pyro PCB, and not much different other than like adding some nice graphics, and we have a nice little solder stop mask, I think it's called, where you like make a little stop graphic so that the copper shows through. So that's kind of neat. It's a little open source hardware logo, and in the back here there's a little bit more graphics. Button pad and the little Adafruit logo at the bottom, so it's just really simple. Still have to do yet another revision because I kind of messed up on something, but you know, it kind of happens. So this is version 2, and then version 3 will be, I don't know, in the next week or so. I've already milled this out on the other mill like months ago, and it already works, but I just want to perfect the graphics and things, so that's kind of pretty. And another note is like, you kind of get these stickers from Osh Park, and I noticed that they're all different. So it's kind of neat. Yeah, so it's kind of like, I don't know, they randomize it, or they have different artists or something that like make different ones. This is the OX07 version, which is kind of neat by, his name is on there, Paul Nylander. So that's kind of neat.
And it's a sticker, or is it a circuit board? It's kind of hard to
No, it's a sticker. It's just a nice vinyl sticker. And every time I've gotten one, they're like different graphics, so that's kind of neat. And they have little numbers that tell you like the different versions of it. So this one's like 01, this one's 05, and this one's 07. So maybe I'll get another. It's like I'm going to collect them all. You know, that's pretty cool.
Yes.
And then Pedro has something that he wanted to share.
Yeah, this week's project, we went over to a little local event that we have here. They do like cosplaying, and very cool. A guy was there at the show as well, showing his custom 3D scanning rig with a lot of the parts from Adafruit. So we did a cool little 360 video interview, and we'll show that later in Ask an Engineer, and the full video will be out tomorrow. And I'm just showing off the little 3D scan that he did of me.
Yay, little mini selfie page.
The scanner, they had it looks like a person was in costume too.
Yeah, doing a lot of the
we were
costumes.
interviewing while he was doing scans. So he has this whole his whole rig is automated, and he wrote some custom software where he has like an Xbox controller, and he's like controlling the sensor and different cameras. So he's got an array of cameras and all this cool stuff. We'll go over it, of course, tomorrow since we have like was it like 5 minutes interview or something like that?
Something like that.
Something like that. So it's kind of cool. We had the 360 camera, so we thought it'd be cool to shoot it, and I had my little microphone, so the audio came out really well.
Yep.
And that's pretty much it.
Okay, awesome.
Thanks,
I
guys.
love you like you do 3D printing and now you're learning circuit board layout. It's awesome
yeah.
getting all these skills.
Goes hand in hand.
Yeah, totally.
Okay, all right, next up.
All right, we're gonna go
Aaron.
to Aaron. Hey,
Aaron,
welcome back to
back.
the show and tell. What you
Hello.
share tonight?
Thank you. So tonight, I sort of became obsessed with a question about how to make shoreline cleanup faster and easier to reach in remote locations. And so that led me to develop a prototype robot and engage with humanitarians in the effort and go on field tests with this robot. So here's what it looks like.
Whoa.
So it's a rover-type robot. This arm is interchangeable. Right now it has a soil sampler moisture sensor on it, and that can be replaced with a claw for medium-sized debris. So we took this robot out to various beaches in Toronto and cleaned up some of the shorelines with the claw here, picked up some Tim Hortons cups and stuff. And for a little demo, here's how the robot works. It's controlled with a nunchuck that's in a box, so it's all wireless, and drives forwards, can deploy the arm. And now what's really fun is that the robot can adjust its center of gravity based off of this tilting drive system that I developed. So the entire robot is 3D printed, and we're hoping that one day it'll collect enough plastic debris on the shorelines to be able to have enough plastic to make filament to print itself again.
That's good.
Yeah.
All right, outstanding. Well, the only thing it's missing is as seen on the show and tell sticker. So email support@adafruit.com, and we'll send you out an as seen on the show and tell sticker.
That's
Cool.
cool. You're like I even build these robots,
Yeah.
and these robots are actually going to help do things. They're going to be robot friends.
Not only does the robot have a destination, but it has a cause, which is really important. So
Absolutely.
Good work.
And by engaging with other users other than makers, it really helps to go further and really integrate the effort.
Yeah.
So.
making makers. Okay, well, thank you, Aaron. It's good to see you, and come back anytime. Your
Yeah,
projects are always fantastic.
It's great to see you.
Thanks.
All right, next up, Stuff with Kirby. Stuff with Kirby, unmute your mic and show us your project.
Alright, so the other week I was working on Pi Zero cases that snapped together with no hardware. And I got them all done now. Wait,
Oh, yeah.
zoom in here.
It's so happy.
Yeah.
So it uses the snap fits designed by Noel. It just goes right together. And then I have one that'll work with hats.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
That's
That's a little taller.
yeah.
Oh no, it has a hole in it. Oh, smart. The mouth is the slot.
So I have
Yeah.
a scroll fat. It just pops right in.
Oh,
And then I took that design to the Pi, the bigger size today. So all snaps together, needs no hardware. So I'm working on that now to put a face on it.
I like the snaps. That's good.
Yeah, it's a lot quicker.
Yeah.
No hardware to find or snap off.
Yeah.
What's interesting is that 3D printers, you know, I remember when Bunny visited us like 4 years ago, and he said that he was looking to buy a 3D printer that could do press fit precision, and he's like, at the time there was nothing that could do snap fit precision, so that's kind of neat.
Now you kind of can.
Now you can get, you know, desktop 3D printers that are so precise you can snap fit. I mean, that's pretty precise if you think about it.
And with magnets, it helps too.
Yeah.
Yeah, magnets are hard to find sometimes.
Yep.
So, and then just here's the case in Fusion 360.
Oh, cool.
This one.
That pie model is great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I found them on GrabCAD, so it saves me from doing the work.
That's cute.
Here's well, that's what I got for this week.
That's
Okay,
fantastic.
that's awesome.
All right, well, although those cases are small because it's for the Pi Zero, they still got room somewhere for As Seen on the Show and Tell sticker, so email us support@adafruit.com and we'll send one out to you.
Thank you, Kirby.
Thanks, Dr. Kirby.
That's great.
Okay, Bayan? I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right.
Yes, guys. Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, unfortunately, I cannot figure out how to turn on the camera. I mean, that's
okay.
pretty
Do
much...
you want to just talk about what you're showing for a couple of minutes?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. So the thing I'm developing, and I have been developing it for a while, is Visuino. I don't know if you guys have seen it.
I've heard and seen multiple types of Duinos.
Oh, okay. Well, it's a visual development tool which allows you to program Arduino type of boards, as well as ESP8266 and other boards that are, I mean, supported in the Arduino IDE because the tool generates Arduino type of code. So in general, you use it fairly simple. Let's say you want the blinky, right? So you just want to pulse LED, you drop a pulse generator, and you hook it to the LED. And if you want to, let's say, monitor one of the analog channels, you can connect it to the serial port, and it will program the board, and I mean, you can monitor it. So you can design anything you want pretty much this way. So this is the thing I'm working on.
It's like visual Arduino programming, Visuino.
Yeah, it's called Visuino, yes, exactly. Yeah. So yeah, this is the product. It can program all kinds of things, including you can program communication between boards. You can program I2C type of communication between boards, Wi-Fi communication. You can develop web servers. You can program both the boards and shields, large amounts of peripherals. I was just doing earlier today Instructable on 711, the weight, I keep forgetting the exact abbreviation, but it's HX711 weight sensor basically. And yeah, I keep adding new functionalities, and I had hoped that you guys may be interested, and we may work together to support more of the boards you guys have. So I just wanted to show you the Visuino and see how you guys like it.
That's
cool
great.
demo, but no matter what, you get an As Seen on the Show and Tell sticker. You could like scan it and then put it in there and then connect it to an object. This is neat. I think we've posted about it before, but send us a link and we'll check it out.
So you want me to just drop the link in
when you email for your sticker, just include the link and we'll send it off to our team here.
Yep.
Cool stuff.
All right, thank you for the demo.
Yeah,
that looks
cool.
like a beautiful programming language.
Live demo.
Live demos are hard, and it works out.
All right.
It crashes. You never know. It's always.
Yeah, always the case. Yes.
All right. Next up, C. Scott. How's it going, C. Scott?
Hey guys.
Hey, it's good to hear you.
Okay, now for part 2 of the 4-month synthesizer project. When I was 15, it sort of was the bridge between a kid tinkering and a person on the road to being an engineer. I'm not sure if you can see
origin story.
This machine here. This is the keyboard and computer part of that P4700J machine. I'm going to throw a couple links in the sidebar here so you can, anybody interested can browse at their leisure. But here's the machine in question when I repaired it. And as a special, I don't know if I could call it a treat, but I managed to find a song I did in 1980 on this machine that I will also link over to you, because when I play it over the, I'm going to play it, but you may recognize this. But, and there's the song that you can listen to without it coming over the crappy audio compression here. But I'm going to switch to my other camera so I can detail a few items. Now, if you can hear me, this is the computer. This was
but there's no video.
No,
You're in it now. Okay.
It's kind of glitchy on this camera, but this is a computer. It has a flavor of the 6502 in it called a 6503. It's a 28-pin chip. It can address 4K of memory. It runs at 0.4 megahertz, 400 kilohertz. You know, not exactly a speed demon, but it was sufficient for the task that it was a given. In this case, the ROMs are 1702As. That's a 256 byte by 8-bit programmable ROM, and I still have the programmer for those. It uses 60-volt programming voltage. It wasn't exactly your 5-volt only stuff of today. But it also had a 1K of static memory, and you loaded programs either through the keyboard, like I mentioned last week, or if I can look in here, you'll see that there's a couple of phone jacks there. That's putting a cassette tape on there. And of course, that's the DB25 that connected to the head unit that I showed you last week. But you would, it's sort of like using a flight computer on an old Apollo ship. You would key in the address of your program and hit run. And if you had a program loaded there and you had to key in your data variables and stuff ahead of time, like the number of voices you wanted to play, and if you were doing any software transients, that is envelopes, your attack and decay and whatnot, you'd have to enter that stuff ahead of time. And if everything was working, it would start up, and you know, when you played keys, you would get gates and voltages at the output. I'm going to switch back to me here, of the machine. And you get things like the Star Wars song I did in 1980. Now, this was before Empire came out, so you know, I didn't have any of the score for it yet, but you know, everybody wanted to play the Star Wars theme in the late 70s. So there's another machine that was used in that song that I will have to show you next week, because I have it too. It was the Pious string machine. Now, string synthesizers are a different beast. They're more like organs. They use a device, a chip called a top octave generator. And what that was, it was, you fed it in like a 2 megahertz clock, and it has a bunch of integer dividers in it, and each one splits off a chromatic tone. So you have C, C sharp, D, D sharp, and so on. You had 13 tones, 1 octave plus the C above. And you would throw those through a bunch of flip-flops and extract lower octaves, and then each one would be connected through a diode network to your keyboard. And it was full polyphony. You could just mash down all 37 keys and get, you know, all 37 tones in one horrendous squawk. But that's the string background. The chords you hear in the background of that song is the string machine. The rather cheesy reverb you hear is another, it's a thing from Radio Shack. I still have it too. It was a little bucket Brigade delay device that was supposed to add like reverb realism to your stereo, and it ended up sort of doing that. It was a very noisy thing, because BBD chips are noisy by nature. They're sort of an analog memory. There's just a bunch of dynamic, they're capacitors. They're capacitors, and you're switching the storage voltage from one capacitor to the next with these phase overlapped clocks. It was a mess. Anyway, the
MOSFET switches on like delay on clocks, and it just like it like Flip-flop
You know?
to...
Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
You know who has a demo circuit of this written in their book? Forrest Mims. Look in there. Look for the SAD 1024. It's a dual bucket Brigade device. All the basics of how it worked, and he had a circuit of how to drive it and how to get audio through it. It's all there. It's an interesting read. In fact, you know, the particular sound, and that sound had a very narrow range of usefulness because you had to put a really sharp low pass filter on it to get all the clocking noise out. That sound is particular to that mid-70s, late 70s era, and there's enough of a call for it today in emulating classic instruments that certain of the fabless chip companies have reissued their versions of it.
Really?
I mean, they're better in some respects, and they're kind of not as good in some respects. They're better in the fact that they're much less noisy, but they're not as good because they're much less noisy. So you get this cleaner output that people are going, well, yeah, but we need to noise it up a little, so they end up mixing back in a little bit of imperfections and what have you. Now, to close out, I'm going to go to a different machine that I have. It's called the Yamaha CS line, CS50, 60, 80. The CS80 is, of course, the Blade Runner machine. I'll throw up a quick image of, where's my screen share? There it is, of this guy. I don't know if that's showing up there, but you see, here's a chip for sale on eBay, $1,000. Okay, that's crazy. Okay, that's crazy. I mean, especially for this chip. This thing is this is one of two chips in the which page is it? I got.
Okay, 5,000 tabs.
Well, you know, I got data sheets and.
No, I know. It's like the same for me.
This is the key assigner board in those machines. It was a one-size-fits-all, but if you look, you can see this is the chip in question, and this is it. There's a key assigner and a key voltage detector. In other words, this read the keys, and this is an 8-channel DAC. In fact, it's not really a DAC. It's just a bunch of analog switches. The DAC are these resistor strings here.
I know. I'm like, that's not really a DAC. I mean, it's a DAC, but it's like a shift register.
Well, it is. I mean, the nice thing about Yamaha from that era is they gave you really, really good operational notes on how their parts worked. So I have a complete technical. Here, I'll throw it on my other screen. I just covered the session up. Let me find it. There it is. And I need to screen share the first screen. Hello, screen share. Okay, I need to screen share. Don't mean to be wasting all our time here, but where is it? When you have 500 windows open, this happens. Okay, I'm going to cut to the chase here. We're going to go straight to Eagle. Okay, I'm going to make this chip.
That's it. We're up and up, Eagle.
It's $1,000 on eBay. I'm going to make it.
Yeah. Well, I'm like, if I sell this little retrofit board for $100, you know, then that's like saving more machines. I don't care about making money hand over fist so much as like keeping these machines alive.
No, I mean, who's going to repair their synthesizer if the chip is $1,000? Like,
well, the synthesizers that these come out of list on eBay, and some of them actually sell for anywhere from $4,000 to $25,000. And I'm like, I can build my own machine from scratch for that price. In fact, I could build one, sell it, and build another one to keep. So, yeah, I'm working on. This is just very preliminary design. The quirk here is these chips didn't run on like 5 volts. They ran on plus 8.5, minus 6.5 volts. They were a bipolar logic device. And being a bipolar logic device, they could cheat a bit because the way they encoded keys is they would take one. It's just a diode matrix of keys. They would raise a voltage to 8 volts and see if there's a key close through the diode. But then they would take the other pin and take it negative so that they could see if they could get current flow in the reverse direction through the diode. That's how they figured out which octave you had and which note in that octave you had. I'm like, whatever. I'm just going to do it the classic way, because in Yamaha's pursuit of avoiding to use microprocessors at all costs in the 1970s, they came up with these gloriously synchronous weird state machines that would encode things, but there's no instruction set. But we have the advantage in AVRs or whatever to program it in any way we desire. So I'll address the keyboard in a sane fashion and then just emulate what the time division multiplexing of the storage of the notes. Because this chip, all it had to do was read the keys and generate note codes. I don't know, let me get to the Eagle page. So it would read the keys here. You read octaves here. You pull the notes back here. You'll know what octave you're on because your code says, oh, I selected octave 1. I threw in some dip switches so I could actually have some options. But then you read your note back, and it comes in here and it encodes. And the side effect is I'll have a MIDI in and out. But the two things you want to do is you had to provide a key, a gate to turn on a voice channel, one of 8 voices. Then, I don't have it wired in yet, since you had bipolar outputs on this chip, I have to use a bunch of opto-isolators to invert and drive the signals out into the rest of the system, because they send these note codes and a set of, there's like a master clock, a clock on every 9th pulse, and a clock on every 72nd pulse that have to be sent system-wide to keep everything synchronized. But I'll let you know how this one turns out, because this is only one half of the job. There's 2 chips. This is the encoder. Then I have to do the analog switch next. But
okay, sounds good.
Epic.
All right.
It's 7. You guys need to get ready, and I'll shut up.
Yeah. Hey, I think Josh, you came in at the end. Would you be able to come back next week to show your project? Thumbs up, Josh. Maybe. Is that okay? Maybe next week? Oh, he can't hear us. Okay.
I can't hear you.
Anyways, all right. Thank you, Tony. Thank you so much, Kirby, Pedro, Josh. If you want a project, come by next week. Aaron, thank you so much for your notes. And Boyan, thanks for showing us.
Thanks.
Isdrino. See, Scott, can you play us out with some Star Wars?
Yes, I can. I had muted us, so I'll file up again here.
I like to call it a nice day for a droid wedding.
It's muffled because I'll tell you about it next week, how you had to record multi-track stuff.
Okay, all right. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you on Ask an Engineer in like 1 minute. Bye-bye.
Later.